Yes, that's right. It's Joe here for Joyrider TV, out on the Hobie 14 in a significant amount of wind, maybe 25 knots. And we're just going to take a look at tacking, troubleshooting the tacking, and perhaps almost as important as the tacking, we're going to have a look at what to do if you stall. Before we take her out in the mega strong wind that we just saw, we need to be able to know that we can tack the 14 and recover from being stalled in the light winds as well. Sometimes this is actually just leaving the beach can be really prone to stalling. So let's see how we're going to go about doing this. So I'm going to go super casual here and actually set off no rudders, no main sheet. Just going to give her a push. Little bit of rudder. Going to use that momentum to turn downwind a little bit. Bit more rudder, yeah, it's deep enough to get it all the way down there. Going to turn a bit more downwind, just so that when I pull the boom to hook the main sheet on, she's not going to stall. Leeward rudder. Okay, we have successfully left the beach. That is a good start. Yeah, we're going to get straight into it, straight off the beach. So before we tack, this is a bit of a tacking refresher, but before we tack, we really need to look at the area that we're going to tack into. And then what we're not going to do with the 14 is crank the main sheet in as tight as it will go. We're going to have it in tight so that we can sail closer to the wind. We can see the telltale there, the wind indicator is just blowing to the downwind side of the mast. All right, so now let's go for a tack and then I'll talk about it afterwards. Okay, so we're through there and we're just going to go for another tack straight away. So same again, just pushing her through, grabbing the boom. That's a big one in the light winds. Pull it towards you and then that allows the boat to turn right off the wind on the new side. So the more that we get the main sheet out, the greater our success rate is going to be. All right, so just go on a little bit and then we'll go for another tack. So how much is the right amount of main sheet? Okay, so too much would be as hard as we can because we'd be kind of stalling the mainsail before we go into the tack. So a good amount would be so that we can feel tension in the sheet, so that on this course with the wind indicator blowing just to the downwind side of the mast, we can feel she's going along nicely and then we're ready to go. Okay, so I'm uncleating the main sheet before I start the turn, pushing the rudders away. As soon as those wind indicators are straight towards us, maintaining that angle of turn on the rudders and bringing the main sheet, bringing the boom over towards us. And you'll see I'm really not bothered about moving across the boat in this wind until we've started moving forwards on the new side. And then the wind's so light that the battens haven't gone. Usually we can get the battens to go just with a good sheet in of the main sheet and then off we go. This time I'm just going to pay attention to what I'm doing with the tiller extension a bit. So we're close to the wind, main sheet is in a nice amount, pushing the rudders across, watching the wind indicators, and I'm just clamping the stick down with my hand on the sidebar. So really focusing this time on keeping the angle of turn consistent. Stick goes round the back, getting it down on the new side, sitting down, looking forwards as soon as we can, sheeting in, and then there we go. Okay, so let's see why it would be that your tack is not successful. Okay, so number one would be if we're not tacking from an upwind point of sail. So I've got the main sheet really cranked in because that's what I heard someone say we should do. And we're not on an upwind point of sail. So let's see what happens here. So I'm coming up into the wind. So we're still only just into the wind there. Going across the boat because we're into the wind. Okay, and there we are definitely stalled. So I've actually committed two crimes there against tacking. One, we weren't close enough to the wind. Two, I had the main sheet in too tight and then I didn't let it off. So to get the boat going again, first thing we need to do, if ever we are stalled, is let the main sheet off. Okay, that's not going to have an immediate effect because if I look out the front of the boat, we're not actually moving. So to get the boat moving as quickly as we can, what we'll do is we're going to push the boom out, and if we look out the front of the boat with the head cam, you can see immediately pushing the boom out, we can see how the horizon is going to the side, the wind indicators are coming across, and that means we're turning more away from the wind. That was with the rudders straight, so we weren't reversing the rudders. That was this kind of weather vaning effect of the mainsail. So the more that we have the mainsail out, and if we push it out, the wind is going to try to keep the mainsail straight on if we're not moving forwards. So we're going to turn like that of a burgee or a weather vane. Yeah. All right, let's see if we can get it to stall again. This time we're sailing along and we're going to go into the tack without any main sheet on. Let's see what happens here. Okay, I'm going to be completely honest with you, I've had to manipulate that a little bit with the rudders to get the boat to stall. It's like I said, when you want it to stall, it won't stall. If it is race 2 at the national championships, yes, it's going to stall every time. Okay, so another thing we can do to help get her away from the wind is, like we were doing in the tack, we'll stay on the leeward side, kind of towards the back of the trampoline a bit. And if I just hold the rudders straight, just from sitting here, and we look out at the front of the boat, what that's going to do is it's going to make the boat pivot back here, and she's going to start to turn away from the wind. Don't try to do this in a strong wind because you will capsize. But in the light wind, you can see rudders straight, just by sitting here, the boat has turned off downwind. Okay, so there we go. That is how we'd recover from being stalled. But the best one, if I can just stall her one more time, I'm just going to push her up into the wind. And then, yeah, another reason for stalling would be as we're coming up into the tack, we're straightening up with the rudders so she doesn't want to turn. And then we're going, okay, come on then, come on. And she doesn't want to. So best way of recovering, boom out, get that kind of weather vaning effect. I'm just going to hold the rudders straight, but we're going backwards quite nicely here. So if we're going backwards fairly quickly, then yes, we'll have to reverse the rudders in the style of the 3-point turn. And now, even though we can see the wind is coming across the boat quite a lot, like 45 degrees, we're not really moving forwards. So sometimes that might be just that if we've pushed the main sheet out, the mainsail out, if we've opened the barn door, we might have to sheet in the main again to get her going. All right, I think it's time to take it out in the breeze and see how we get on with that. think it's going to be quite different. So before we go for a tack, we want to have the boat's sailing pretty close to the wind, main sheet fairly tight, and in this wind so strong, it's almost like we know we're going to be doing a 3-point turn. I've got the Traveller out a bit, that's for the power, it really is honking. The mast doesn't want to rotate, okay, and I just want to get the boat moving a little bit. It's not like we have to go fast, but she certainly needs to be moving. All right, so first tack, here we go, might be straight into a 3-point turn. So main sheet in tight, boat's moving, pushing up, going to that front corner. Okay, yeah, she's going backwards. Fail, number 1. All right, so I think I might have mentioned that it's probably going to be a 3-point turn, which actually meant it was a 3-point turn, but I didn't reverse the rudders. Okay, so we'll go for that again. And in fact, the stalling aspect, much less in this strong wind, because there is so much pressure on the boat in the rig that if you sit still for any amount of time, the boat is going to start getting blown backwards, and as long as you reverse the rudders, then the boat will start moving again. Okay, the mast has just rotated. That could be quite helpful actually. Okay, here we go. So into the wind, boat stops, reversing the rudders, going up to this corner. Then, whoa, circus is in town. Okay, somehow the leeward rudder has kicked up. Whoa, don't linger at the back. That's what they said. Okay, I might have to do that rudder when we're on the other tack. Yeah, so that one, success, because I just kind of went into it knowing it would be a 3-point turn. So as soon as the boat was head to wind, I just reversed the rudders, and to stop from capsizing backwards, went up into the other corner. Now that is because it is very windy. All right, so here we go. We're going to go for a few more to see what happens. So here we go, getting the boat moving. And up we go into the wind, reversing the rudders, hopefully not too soon. If I go up to this corner, that'll encourage her to go backwards. So there we are, going backwards and getting to the back, getting the stick round. Okay, and there we go. That wasn't too bad. Just gonna pop that rudder down. Nice. So here we go, next tack. So got a load of power on. Could say too much. So much power, in fact, we've stalled. So how do we recover from being stalled here? I'm just gonna let the rudders reverse a little bit. I'm watching the front of the boat to see which way the boat is moving against the horizon. Okay, and it's not moving at all. So I'm just gonna try moving back a little bit on the boat. That's gonna lift the bows a bit, and the wind's gonna blow the bows of the boat a bit more, which is going to help to get us off the wind. If the boat's popping a wheelie and it's really head to wind, don't go back, because there's a strong chance you'll capsize backwards. So that increase in tension on the Traveller might have just given us that bit too much. So to sheet in enough to get her into the tack, we're actually stalling because we can't get the main sheet in enough. We'll just go for one more like this. Maybe if I do it fairly quickly, bit of a hole there. So, all right, and there we go. Rudders reversed up to the corner, letting her go round, straightening up with the rudders because she stopped turning, and there we go. Just because if you're ever going to do something where you could capsize, make sure there's nothing downwind of you, because getting blown downwind onto anything is not a fun time. Right, sheeted in, pushing into the wind, we're head to wind, reversing the rudders, getting into this corner. She's going round, grabbing the stick, not lingering too much at the back of the boat. She's stalling a little bit, so I'm just sheeting out even more to allow her to get off the wind. And there we go. Whew. Couple more tacks. No stalling in this wind. Well, some stalling in this wind, but it is easy to recover from because there's so much wind just trying to get us going. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to come forwards a little bit, and here we go. There we go. Oh, reverse the rudders. Bit slow on the reverse there, but still enough. And try not to linger. Or I'm trying to stay away from the back of the boat completely while she's head to wind, because if we spent any time at the back of the boat whilst head to wind, we would capsize backwards very effectively. All right, and here we go, up into wind, reverse the rudders up to this corner, initiating a bit. Oh, she's reversed the wrong way, up to the other corner. Oh, we're going swimming. No, we're not. Whew, that was unexpected. Yeah. Okay, so the rudder's just flipped over. I think maybe I went forwards before she was ready. Okay, so we are definitely stalled right now. So I've got the rudders hard across. I'm just looking out the front of the boat, because when you're stalled, it's the front of the boat which is going to tell you everything, because that'll tell you which way you're turning, and which way you're turning will tell you if you're going forwards or backwards, depending on which way you've got the rudders. Does that make any sense? Sorry, I've got a bit on. All right, next one coming up. All right, here we go, main sheet's in tight and reversing there. And so I'm not moving across as early. It means we're not going backwards quite as early, which I think if we were trying to be a bit competitive, then seems like in this wind, getting forwards early is going to be the key, because also we haven't come off the wind quite as nicely as we did in previous tacks. Woo. All right, so there we go. Hope that was helpful, or if not helpful, then just entertaining. And yeah, if you want to see what happened next, check out the next video, of course, which is when we go for the speed run. Oh yeah. Okay, thanks very much, and I'll see you soon with some more on Joyrider TV.